The cosmic aspect of this drama is to save Earth, in which many souls are trapped. Without the saving of this planet, neither we, nor you, know how many thousands or hundreds of thousands of your years that this planet will then be in a stagnant state. We do not truly know the results of what will happen to the souls of those that are trapped. You understand, a sickness, a disease, can spread if it not controlled. Andrew: yes. Tom: do you understand that if this not controlled and is not handled properly, that this may then contaminate the rest of the universe? Are you aware of that potential? Andrew: well, from what you tell us, yes. We don't know from our own experience, of course. Tom: do you also know that if the entire universe was contaminated, and if the contamination manifested, all that is good, all that is love, would be destroyed? Are you aware of this? Andrew: no, we were not aware of this. Tom: because if this contamination should spread from this small physical planet Earth to the rest of the universe, then all the souls will live in fear and hate, with no hope, in darkness. And there may not be many of us then that can take care of the situation if it develops to that point. Irene: one of the questions that I wanted to ask had to do with this notion of human suffering, and how it came about. I understand that when humans first walked in innocence, there was probably no human suffering. How did it come about? What has its purpose been? Is its purpose tied to the fear that man has of evolving? Why does it exist? Tom: first know this, Earth is the only planet in the entire universe of choice. Humankind first walked with the gods, and you know the story of the temptation of the tree of life. They were tempted to experience the joy of unity with the oneness of creation. Then the Creator said that is forbidden to you. Nevertheless permitted the choice to be made if humankind so chose. They did that choosing. From that day forward, it is not the Creator that has punished, but humankind has punished itself, for they touched in truth the knowledge of who they were, and it frightened them, for they knew that they were not in the state to comprehend completely. It became necessary then to populate Earth, so that all the cells of the Creator could become individuals and free souls, in order for them to become one in unity and harmony by choice. Therefore also Earth is the only planet of conscience, and people chose to feel the emotion of sadness that they had destroyed that trust that was placed in them, and they began then to sacrifice self and their children. It is time to end this farce of sacrifice, for that is what it is, it keeps them in bondage. Release humankind. Irene: so some religious leaders then exploited this guilt. Tom: exactly. They exploited, for it was a means of holding people in bondage. Listen carefully, when there is one who understands the energies of all the created and how they may utilize those energies to make themselves a god, then they keep people in bondage. Irene: in the beginning, why did the Creator forbid man from the knowing? Tom: what was important was for humans to begin without being forbidden to know, but with choice and trust. Irene: so the idea was not you can't have the knowledge, the idea was alright, here's the first example of choice, I'm saying you can't have it, now you have a choice whether to obey or to disobey. Tom: that is correct, and also understand that when you obey it as an exercise, then you no longer need to obey. Irene: the idea being that obedience doesn't sacrifice free will, it in fact promotes it because you don't give obedience that importance. Tom: that is the great truth. Yes. Mickey: some people seem to carry much heavier burdens than others, suffer more than others. Is this only to give those souls an opportunity to learn a certain lesson, or teach others, or is it misfortune? Tom: in your world each of those that you have mentioned are applicable. There are some, because of their surrounding environmental state of awareness, or the technology within your world, that have created great misfortune. None in this time period in reality chooses to suffer, it is brought about by the wrong thinking of those in control of others. There is but a small minority that choose to suffer to teach others. Mickey: I believe that the Creator knows everything in present and in future. How can humans then use their free will? Can you give me an understanding of this? Tom: yes. Just as the Creator is all-knowing, each soul is all-knowing, and there are different paths that each soul may take. At the time of coming to the planet Earth, they made their map, they limited themselves in their choice, but they did bring with them a map, so they would have a choice whether or not to follow that map. Because the Creator knows all does not mean that there is interference in the lives of humans. If your children were in the privacy of their sleeping quarters, you would not think of entering indiscriminately upon them, for there may be private things that they do, and you would not choose to humiliate them, nor to invade their privacy deliberately, is that not so? You are a creator. You created your children. As the parent in the creation of those children, you attempt to guide them. And at times you impose your will upon them for their protection. The Creator simply jogs your mind, but does not impose upon you. The Creator probes you to attempt to jog you to follow one of your directions that you once chose. If you choose a direction and in your deliberations you choose to go in an opposite direction, there is no interference. But in reality, because your privacy is not invaded, the Creator does not choose to see what you will do. That knowledge is kept until the time of your doing it, and afterwards. If you imposed your will upon your children by insisting that the door of their quarters of sleep be open at all times, so you can view them, and if you chose to go in upon their privacy, then you know what your children would do you not? They would protect themselves against you. In the same way, the Creator chooses not to keep your door open or to invade it deliberately.